Married at First Sight UK, Episode 11, Part 1. So we're now on to the second commitment ceremony. The first couple in the hot seat were Morag and Luke. These two look very cosy, as always. They seem to be getting stronger as the weeks go on. One question that Mr. Matchmaker put to Luke was how it felt not being in control this week and letting Morag take the reins. His answer was, people may look at Morag as being in control and virtually like she wears the trousers, but that's me talking there, that she wears the trousers in that relationship. But he says, I'm not the type of person to do something that I don't want to do. So it's not really her being in control, if you get my meaning. He does have a voice and he will say no to something that he doesn't like. He feels that she's bringing out the best of him because he's lost himself in the past few years, and she's bringing back the fun side of him, which he'd lost, and also his confidence. And he sees this as positive, such as the Magic Mike situation she put him in. He's also communicating more with the other guys within the group, again, which is a positive, because he was quite sort of meek and timid when we first met him. This experience has been very positive for him. She's bringing back his confidence. Yeah, she's bringing out the best of him. And I can't fault her in that respect. My only worry is whether it will last, because I can see he likes her more than she likes him. The question was then asked to Morag, what has she done to become a better person? She brought up the jar full of compliments that he can look at whenever she's lacking in giving him praises. That was virtually it. Yep, very short and sweet. When Mr. Matchmaker asked Morag and Luke whether they were in love, I had to rewind that 3 times to get the gist of what he was getting at. Yep, 3 times. I couldn't understand it. I think, what's he saying? I don't get it. Even these guys were confused. Everybody was looking at each other to think, what? What does he mean? Did he just ask what I thought he asked? In love? And then I thought, now I get it. It does make sense. He was saying that these guys are looking too far into the future about what being in love is and not thinking about the here and now in the present. Him asking that question was about how do you feel right now? And their simple answer should have been, I'm not in love. That's it. I'm not in love. But at the same time, there's potential. The next question he asked was, what is actually holding you two guys back from being in love with each other? Yes, that's what he said. And it was Morag that answered that question very simply, it's me. Which I presumed was the case. Yes, predicted this one. Her answer was that she's been Miss Independent for so long that to have somebody invade her space, she found quite challenging. And it's all about her now bringing down her walls. Yeah, that was virtually the gist of it. So, going on to whether they're going to stay, they both put stay. The next couple in the hot seat were Amy and Josh. Well, where do I start with these two? Miss Blondie Matchmaker, Mel. Yes, I'm going to get her name right, I will. She went straight in about the dinner party from the night before, about how Amy was looking very upset. So Amy went into detail about how everybody looks loved up, but her and Josh are not in the same place. Mel then turned around and said to Josh, Did you not see your wife crying? And he said, no, I didn't notice. She had her back to me anyway. Miss Mel, Blondie Matchmaker, was virtually saying, that ain't gonna rub. It's not gonna rub. You did not check in. That's really what she was saying. Don't give me excuses. Don't give me excuses. That's me talking now. But that's what she was saying. Straight up, it's not going to cut it. He had to put his hands up at that point and say that he should have checked in. Amy then turned around and said something like her ideal man would be Luke's caringness, but inside Josh. Then the other lady matchmaker turned around and said, but that's dangerous. Because at the same time, Josh is Josh. She was really saying, take him as he is or leave him. That's really what she was saying. She can't change him. He's going to want to have to change. Mel, the matchmaker, then asked Josh how he was feeling. And he turned around and said, Amy's moving too fast for him. That's really what he said. She's thinking so far ahead, planning 2 years ahead, what their plans are, or how do we get there. Whilst, as I said before, he lives day by day. And when he's put in that scenario of having to answer those questions and he feels he's been backed into a corner, as he said, like any young guy, yes, that's exactly what he said. As any young guy, I don't act accordingly. That's virtually what he said. I told you. He's young. He's not ready. He's not ready. But I do understand him when he talks about her thinking too far into the future, 2 years ahead from now. That is far. That is far. Let's think 6 months ahead. 6 months. But I'll tell you now, even 6 months is too much for him. Even 6 months is too much for him. He is not ready. He's not ready. As he has already told us, it takes him 12 months, a year, to fall in love. Yes, that's what he said. A year to fall in love. Amy then said that she's got to the point where he needs to step up. Otherwise, she can't see this carrying on. Yes, that's what she said. I hope she means what she says. Because I think she's dragged this on too long for my liking. If this was on the outside of this experiment, she would not still be there. I'll tell you that now. She wouldn't be wasting her time. She would have moved on. The final thing said from the matchmaker was that they need to compromise. And that question was more specifically aimed at Josh. He then said that he wasn't really good at articulating his emotions and that through this process he's hoping to change that. That's what he said. When it came to making their decision, Josh's answer was very, very blasé, to be honest. All he virtually said was, I'm going to try my best. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. That's virtually what he said. Maybe not in those words, but that's what he meant. So he was very blasé. So he decided to stay. When it came to Amy now, she had put 2 answers. Yes, 2 answers. Her decision was going to be made off what he said tonight on that sofa. Yes. That's what she did. She made a point of saying that they're both moving at different paces and she needs to see him make more effort. That was virtually the gist of it. And also, she said that in past relationships, she's had boyfriends that haven't checked in on her and she's not going to put herself through that again. That's what she said. In conclusion, she's decided to stay. But we're going to have to wait and see. We're going to have to wait and see where this goes. The next people in the hot seat were Matt and Dan. In short, these guys were happy to be matched. They're very good friends, and the connection each day is growing. The sex is good, but it's not all about the sex, as Dan mentioned. He enjoys getting to know Matt and vice versa. And just everything just seems to be going in the right direction. And Matt says that things are just amazing, that he can see himself spending a long, long time with Dan. Plus, at the same time, they do both trust each other. Which is when Mr. Matchmaker turned around and said, "This is what we call love, where you can trust each other." Now, when it comes to the distance thing, there is a time clock on that, as Dan stipulated. In response to that, Matt did turn around and say that he would do anything when it comes to love. So if things are going in the right direction, you may just see one of them move. We're going to have to wait and see. In conclusion, they both put stay. So this is where I'll end it for now. If you'd like what you've heard, please like, comment and subscribe. Until next time.